Hello and welcome to the MKAU show. This is season 4, episode 3. I've got a couple of different things we're going to be talking about today. We're going to be talking about the death of E3, talking about the ambulance movie and some explosions. We got some special insight into the ODL league. That's why we brought on the expert Slendy right here. So first of all, just introduce everyone. My name's Fletcher. We got Subby, the big boss man.
Howdy.
We got Simon, returning
Chevy
member.
Mookie.
So it's always good to see
This
you back.
nice button-up shirt.
Oh, looking very.
Where you
professional.
been, mate?
Right. I've been working, as you can see, very button-up shirt.
You working on the
such.
public holiday?
I'm currently reviewing Postal 4.
Ooh.
We didn't say hello to Slendy first, did we?
Oh yeah, no, yeah, we haven't.
Slow down.
The man
I'm
of the hour,
a veteran.
Slendy.
It's fine. It's fine.
Yeah.
Man of the hour, Slendy, who's going to be running us through the ODL league and everything that's transpired just recently, putting MKAU on the map in the Esports league.
Yeah,
wanna
doing what I can.
Mm.
Well, we ended up placing third in our Division 2 for ODL. So ODL's Oceania Draft League. So it's a Rocket League competition, community-based. I believe it's been community award for the last 2 years in a row, like as the best community run event. So we've done really well in that. I mean, ODL is nothing too flashy, but it's a good step in the right direction for esports regardless. I mean, for the first time MKAU have ever, I guess, been presented into a spot like this, done really well. Unfortunately, our Division 1 team didn't make it into the finals, but with Division 2 making it into third, there was a lot of chatter. Who is it? What do we do? Blah, blah, blah. And the best part about it is when we were put into it, when they were announcing us, they were letting us know everything about what we do and everything like that. So it was a good way to really introduce the two together, I thought. I know Subby watched it. What did you think when you were watching some of that?
I was surprised. I didn't think I'd get into Rocket League, to be honest. But I got a bit hooked. I think Fletcher was watching it as well. Weren't you, Fletch?
Yep.
I don't know. I was I did. These guys are insane at playing this game. So bad at it. I think that's what makes it interesting to watch, though. It's just that they're just insane. I don't know how you guys time all these flips and like perfectly.
A lot of stress and anger.
I just don't get it. It's like they're like robots. No, it was good fun to watch. Actually, I was very surprised.
How were the hands afterwards? Like all jittery and stuff, or?
Oh, jittery, sweaty, you name it. Like you're always in suspense when you're playing it realistically, and it's never a dull moment when you're playing Rocket League because anything can happen. Like realistically, you have such a big skill gap difference between every player, and it's very well known for a game like that. And the worst part about it, well, I guess the best part in a sense, is with the draft league, you're not really with your common team. So it's set up just like the NFL draft in a sense. You've been voted on a price. So the way it works is you sign up, you give your rankings, your tracker, all your past accomplishments within Rocket League and all that kind of stuff, and it all gets taken into account from a group of council that vote on you. So they vote blindly, so they don't interact with each other and say, hey, let's bump this person up. It's blindly between 1 to 10, so to speak, and 1 being $100 and 10 being $1,000. Once you get an averaged out price, once the time slots are finished, you basically get split in half, so to speak, between Division 1 and 2. Because I mean, you can't be having someone that's $1,000 versus someone that's $100. It's just really unfair, especially with the skill gap difference in that sense. So once you've split off into those, you have a salary cap per division, and then you get picked up, and so it makes it a lot more fun as well in one sense, because there's people that you would never have thought of playing with before that you find that you work really, really well with, and there's others that you just go, why am I even here? You know what I mean? Like it's a really luck of the draw. Yeah, 100%. And I think that's the best part about why everyone loves it, is because it does bring a lot of new friends, new faces, new relationships all over the joint to really get together with it. So I got to come on board as part of the moderator team for this season. So I played the season before that and had been around it for the 2 seasons prior. So we just finished season 4. I'm definitely looking at bringing MKAU back into season 5. At this rate, I believe everyone was in agreement that it worked out really well and we were quite happy with the results. So it was something we definitely want to keep pursuing in a sense. But I don't know. For what it is, I think it's been a really great event and has put MKAU a little bit more in the name, like in the mouths of people that are part of, the OCE community that weren't aware that we were here for that sort of thing.
It's interesting, like saying that, putting value on players, getting your stats and all that stuff together, because after this tournament, that whole situation would change. So next season, it'd be a whole different set of teams, correct?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so we'll take into example last season. I was $200 or $300 in regards to price wise once I was averaged out, and then I ended up gaining like another $200, I believe it was, to finish off. So I progressed so much for what it was. Like you kind of look at it in $200. You're looking at $400 compared to 1,000. That's a big jump. But realistically, the skill gap's a massive jump. So if you're going up $200 every season, you're winning. In my opinion,
Progress.
it literally puts you in a completely different game. So the people that go from Div 2 to Div 1, I guess in a sense they get a better gameplay experience because everyone's really high skilled in that area. But if you're on the low end of that side of the division, you're really out of place at the same time. So you get a whole new experience yet again.
How do you find like the whole community itself? Does everyone get along? Do you have a rivalry? Do you have
I guess
people that
you would have
reach out to
individual rivalries in one sense.
Mm-hmm.
So I wouldn't necessarily say there's teams that hate each other because you're all built up between random people, obviously.
Yep.
I think when it comes to the finals, that's kind of where you see your rivalries kind of form for team versus team. And that's more maybe they got knocked out by them at the start of the season and now it's time to take their revenge and whatever it be. And then that's kind of where a lot of that suspense builds. As the community itself, everyone's pretty good with it. Like, we really enjoy it. Most of it's kept well under wraps for that side of things. Everyone's always up in what's going on, posting it all over Twitter. The announcements, everyone's getting hyped for. The tryout turnouts, even for people that are unknown, a lot of people turn out to those. So it's really good in that sense. It gets a lot of people involved, everyone loving it. We haven't seen, a bad moment in it in that sense. I think that's why it's always been a pretty good community tournament.
I reckon we should have an in-house tournament with MKAU, and Subby will be the villain. Like he just won't even help himself.
Yeah, I've been trying to get an MKAU fucking Rocket League thing happening, but every time I try and do it, everyone turns me down because they don't like the game.
It's just too hard. It's so technical. So technical.
I'd be the handicap on the team. Like, if you had to introduce a handicap, that would be me.
If there was a My Little Pony game that we could all just get together and play, that'd be fantastic. Just something real calm and quiet, just relaxing. Finger painting.
That's the worst thing about Rocket League too. I personally think it's probably one of the most difficult games to really wrap your head around in the higher areas of it. I mean, you look at the average player and their, I guess, rank is what it is, would be, it might have boosted up now that the ranks have changed slightly, but it was gold. And the ranks go from bronze, silver, gold, platinum, diamond, champ, grand champ, and now SSL. So it wasn't a thing back then. So if it has changed, it might have bumped up to platinum or something like that.
Yep.
But so our player base for the tournament, so to speak, is a very minority for who can actually, I guess, play in it in a sense. Because you're looking at anywhere from Champ 2 to SSL, which is the very, very high end, and anywhere between GC to SSL is more of like a 0.1% of the player base. So you're not looking at like a high number of players available to do things like this either. So when you do community games, such as like if we were to do one, it'd be a little bit one-sided, especially if where I sit in GC, where most of you guys haven't even touched the game would be sitting anywhere in the silvers. You know what I mean?
Can you
So
do
it
like
makes a
like
big difference.
it's been a while since I've actually got back into Rocket League, but can you do like custom games? Like, could us three
Yeah.
take you on?
Yeah. So you can have.
What do you reckon,
technically,
boys?
you can do. I think the most you can do would be a 7v1. And that's with 3 people technically on your team. They would just have to, play against you in a sense.
Yep.
Yeah, it seems fun.
But yeah, it's pretty well 4v4. I believe is the highest you can get in regards to people on a pitch.
Yep.
So to speak. But custom games have always been a thing, and obviously the whole way that the ODL is run is through custom games as well. We got permission through Psyonix to have one of our accounts be able to pause and everything like that. So proper perms to, I guess, run the custom games properly. So it's developing into a really good tournament, and I believe it's going to progress a lot more. So keeping MKAU and it's going to be really good as well.
So what's your next step with it? Like, do you want to continue building in this one league? Do you want to move to another?
So right now me personally, I think we're definitely going to be keeping ODL as a progression thing. Like it's not a whole lot for us to enter, and it's a good way to get our name out there as well as join both communities together. And I mean, if another opportunity arises for something else, I'm down to give it a try.
Yep.
Especially if it's Rocket League, because that's obviously my department more so than anything. But I know Subby and I were bouncing off a few ideas. We might be looking at R6 maybe in the future or something like that. I know a lot of use into that sort of games as well.
I'd like to look at Rainbow Six next.
Yeah, that'll be an interesting one, that's for sure.
Yeah, that's the fun in it.
Yeah, well, that's what I mean.
You've got the esports back end knowledge. That's all we need.
Do what I can.
Well, I mean, I would imagine it all works the same way for every game at this level.
Yeah, majority of it is the same, and the best part about with ODL, you have all of some of the actual semi-pro, pro, up and coming organizations that have been in the scenes outside of Rocket League as well. So, and they're always available to chat 90% of the time. So you can bounce off ideas, get information, and everything like that. So they're really good in that sense. The community there is great to help because they always like competition. So why would you not help someone else out getting into the same league that you're in to make it spice it up a bit?
That's awesome. Like, well, congratulations on the placement. Congratulations on just like the progress you made over the last 2-3 years as well. Like it sounds like it's progressing the way you want it to.
Yeah, well, the way it's looking is it's fantastic, and the team themselves did bloody excellent when it came to the tournament. So I couldn't fault them there.
Because I remember speaking to you about it, like at the Christmas party and stuff like that.
Yeah. Well, that's what
that's
what we'll do next season.
Overtime after 5 matches in a row type thing and stuff like that. You said by the end of it, you were just so drained.
You're exhausted. Yeah, especially if you're in the lower bracket and you do an overtime for the semis, and then you do another overtime in finals, or if you get a bracket reset as well, makes things even more intense. Like you're just absolutely exhausted, and then it's just who can hold out the longest by that point. But it makes for a good final, I think.
It's one of those things that really isn't outlined all the time. Like the mental exhaustion that you'd have to go through for an entire tournament is just wild. So yeah, awesome. That's great to hear that you're enjoying yourself. Teams are doing well and the community's growing. So before we move on to the first topic, does anyone want to talk about any games they've been playing at all, or we're basically going to be talking about the ambulance movie and some over the top stuff, but I guess while we're talking about games we're playing, is there anything anyone wants to bring up? Or
I think I already said that before.
Yeah, you keep going, Simon. What have you been playing?
Been playing Postal 4, and also my last review before that was Dead Man's Diary, which was the game looks fantastic. It just has a few things with it that just didn't really live up to expectation for me. Want to be more realistic, less in practicality, and just the fact it was just kind of like running around trying to look for a needle in a haystack in a post-apocalyptic scenario that just kind of just didn't work to some parts. But besides that, I'm just also having a lot of fun with Postal. That should be coming out very soon. Should be sending it to you probably
I think
later on today.
I think it's due now. Yeah,
Yeah, on the 20th. 20th. So
20th.
yeah. Besides that, I think one of the things I've been noticing lately is just that everything's coming back to normal. It's post, post COVID. So, we've got PAX this year, but one of the other subjects that we're going to be talking about is, of course, E3, and it's kind of like gone the opposite direction where it's, everything's coming back to normal, but some things are just not there anymore. We had
That's it.
Supernova
We
last
can
weekend as
keep going
well.
straight into it if you want, because it is all relevant to what what we're talking about. So
Yeah, sure. But basically, I'm just saying, yeah, everything's coming back to normal. We've got PAX coming, and I'm seems to be, we've got Starfield coming out in the end of the year, and Bethesda normally is in full force for at PAX, Melbourne for that. We've got all the other conventions coming out all over, Supernova the other weekend, Oz Comic Con as well. Uh, Supernova, from what I've been told, it came really strong this year for Gold Coast. Was that sub? You want to
Yeah, no, it was. I was
comment on that?
surprised. I was surprised how normal it was. I went to it thinking it'd be like Oz Comic Con 2 weeks before that. It was pretty dead, pretty small. Supernova was pretty much exactly how I used to remember it. Packed, just as big as it always was. They didn't cut back on any size or whatever of the convention center.
Yeah, that's good to hear. Especially like I looked at the lineup, and normally we get a lot of international guests, and a lot of them were very Australian based, like guests for that. And it was good to see, or good to hear that it was just as strong as ever
Mm.
coming back, and that's what, if we're expected to see the rest come back like that, it's a good thing. Hopefully nothing else comes along, knock on wood, that kind of disrupts that kind of back to normalcy. And that's why I'm looking forward to PAX, and I think a lot of people are. And from what I can tell, it's going to be like, you know, it's going to be huge. It's two years away, and they've got to come back with a bang. And I think everyone's expecting it as well. So,
I think the fact that, like you said, that since there's so much coming back, there's so much, platforms and everything that all these game companies can be announcing. So that maybe it's not the worst thing that E3's gone, but E3, we talked about this last year, like when they're having issues with COVID, and like the year before, whatever it is. But
yeah,
that's game Christmas, or game of Christmas in general. Everyone gets excited for it, even if
yeah,
we don't necessarily watch it. It's just one of those things that there's going to be like a guaranteed reveal by every single company at this time. But
And
I
it's
mean,
nice to also have kind of those teasers to be, to what to expect for the rest of the year, rather than just, hopping online and Googling, oh, what games are coming out this year. It's
mhm,
nice to have a nice news dump of information all in one. And, having, like, just thinking back to all the moments of E3, a lot of those, we've had Super Smash Ultimate when they announced every single, character being in it.
mhm.
That was a huge announcement, and that happened at E3.
Yep.
We've had, like the amount of memes that have come from E3 alone. Like we have a Keanu Reeves there.
Yeah, like the Cyberpunk thing was so
Yeah,
that'll
Cyberpunk.
go down in gaming history. Like just one brief topic, sorry, announcement just is going to go down in gaming history and could be the last great thing that happened at E3.
Yeah. But I think I said this one of the other times on the podcast before, last one of the last seasons, and that E3 was turning towards, to get more people involved, is to have more celebrities. So they had,
Mhm,
Keanu Reeves, they had Vin Diesel there, and if they weren't just bringing in celebrities, they were making people celebrities. Some of
mhm.
the presenters from it, one of the original presenters was it, what's his name, Reggie from Nintendo.
Reggie
Yeah,
from Nintendo, yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, and yeah, he was like one of the big presenters. That was kind of like, I think his famous quote was like, "My body is ready for the
yeah.
think it was the Wii Fit, little presentation. And that was, it's the gaming community always went to E3 as, a staple of this is. We all sat down and watched it, be like sneakily, look on your phone and watch it at work and kind of
I
just
used to
go,
get up
all
at
right.
3 a.m. in the morning to watch the Xbox ones.
Yeah, and it was one of those things. But ever since a lot of the other companies just went off and did their own thing, I don't think it can replicate the same feeling and buzz as E3 as a like everything under one house.
Yep.
It kind of it's sad to see it kind of dissipate and become what it is now.
I think
guess
one.
on, like,
I think one. I think one day it'll come back. E3.
Yeah.
I just think COVID's changed a lot of things.
Mindsets.
COVID's made people realize you can do all this online.
But I think the thing I thought about it recently when I was, what it is about E3. A lot of people try and keep comparing companies when E3 happens, say who won E3 and all that stuff, but then there's the opposite side of the coin where we keep saying stop revealing games and then showing us nothing for 3 years type thing. It's kind of like E3's, like in a way, it's like it's really exciting because we're expecting to see something, and companies may feel like they're forced to reveal something then. So
Exactly.
taking it away might be good in the long run because I think the best thing that's like ever happened when it came to game reveals was Fallout 4. He turned up, he revealed Fallout 4, he showed a 15-minute gameplay, and it was out in 4 months, type thing. Like we knew nothing about it before that. So like maybe taking away E3, they'll just reveal it when it's ready because I hate seeing a CGI trailer turn up 5 years before we get a gameplay trailer.
It's the worst kind of outcome when it comes to it, especially with like even games being delayed for a year. It kind of annoys the shit out of you. Like you get it, you want it to work better, you want it to do this, you want it to do that, but even that extra delay it kind of does annoy you. And so when you see something 2 years prior to it even being out, to us even needing to know about it, and then still waiting for it, you're just like, all right, my hype's dead by the time I've got the game. I don't want it anymore. Or it's just I'm not invested enough as I would have been if I had known 3 months before it was about to come out, and then go, oh shit, fuck yeah, let's get this,
Yeah.
Case in point, Cyberpunk.
Yeah. And there's a few others besides that, like Beyond Good and Evil. The sequel to that was, how long has it been since the last announcement?
No idea.
Yeah, exactly. I think it's like 4 or 5 years now, or something like that. There's plenty of games like that, especially when they show off a trailer that looks awesome when they show it off at E3, but then it looks completely different from when they actually do release it. The good old famous, bait and switch kind of thing. So it's one of those things. It is a catch-22 that you get all these great looking things, trailers, drops on E3, but then it just creates a hype train that's kind of good but unnecessary, especially when it's about 3 or 4 years down the track that the game will actually be released.
I think what you mentioned there about like celebrities turning up and being more integrated, they started getting better at it because looking back at some of the absolutely atrocious, awful presentations that they've had, it used to be like they'd get a game developer come on here because they know what they're talking about, but they don't know how to present the game. So they'll turn up and it would be like an absolute disaster. And then they started bringing in celebrities and the celebrities have no interest in the game at all, and they're just reading a script, and you're kind of like, well, what are they doing up here? They don't even play the game or something like that. So like, I feel like we're finally making a balance of it, but we got a lot of memes in the process. So
it does, but I love the memes. Everyone loves the memes that come from it, and I think that's one of the things I'll probably miss if E3 is just gone for good. It's just it's the amount of memes that come out of E3 that you can just kind of go, yeah, the trailer's great, but did you hear Keanu Reeves was on stage or something like that, or it's one of those things.
It's definitely taken a big chunk out of the community, realistically, taking it out of the scene altogether at this stage.
Look, I mean, it hasn't completely gone. E3 and announcements have blended itself into the Game Awards. So where the Game Awards didn't have announcements, really, they just had the Game Awards.
Yeah.
they've now put, world premiere, world exclusive, all these announcements during the Game Awards now. So, look, E3 is a trade show. It's not meant to be for the public. It's meant to go there and it's a trade show.
Yeah, like
I just don't think there's a need for them anymore. That's why they're turned into like people looking forward to it as announcements, which you don't need them out there.
I was reading all these different things from like different presenters and stuff like that have done work behind the scenes of certain things in media and stuff like that. Like Jeff Keighley and like even like Alana Pierce and stuff like that was talking about the when they announce these games, they're announcing it for companies to invest in their companies, more or less than saying to the public, they're like, oh, the game's coming out in 5 years. It's more like this game's coming out, and then it shows the investors that they're proving that they've got stuff to work on and making progress, etc. So yeah, it's a it's a PR nightmare across.
I think you'll see the physical part of it being more at PAXs, even not just ours, but around the world, where they'll have they'll have the games and stuff there for the public to start getting excited about, and then they'll leave announcements to like the game by the look of it. Or they'll just keep doing their own little shows, like they do now.
I mean, it's getting
a little showcases that like Sony and Xbox do at random times of the year.
It's funny that they pushed that into the Game Awards because the Game Awards got so much flack because they showed more games than awards over this last one in December.
Yeah, it was still enjoyable though. Like I chimed in for it, and it was kind of like it was good to see all those games being announced because it was kind of like a nice little. Oh, okay. Here's a little gift for you. Here's a new game that's coming out.
I think it needs it. Other than other than saying, this guy won the award, and then nothing else between it type thing. So
yeah. Well, one of my favorite memories from like E3 was always they would announce a game and then they'd say the pre-order is this item. So like for example, the Doom helmet. And then instantly you go onto like EB Games and you try and do the pre-order, and everyone's already ordered it, and you're like, no, I want to get that.
Too slow, mate.
I know.
We used to have little bingo cards, like we got it from other YouTubers and stuff like that. But like they have little bingo cards you try and like make up, which is like released right now, like type thing. When they make the announcement, they said it's on the Microsoft stores straight away. Or like a CGI trailer or celebrity and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So that was always good fun.
Yeah.
I mean, like I guess that goes hand in hand with the topic like I've got on here as well about just game releases for this year have been absolutely stacked to last 3 months, like first 3 months of the year, and looking at the schedule for the rest of the year, is anything going to land? I mean, like who knows about God of War 2? I don't think that's coming. Breath of the Wild 2 has been like pushed back. We've got the Hogwarts Legacy game. They released this big gameplay, and then they go, by the way, that's next year.
So keen for that, yeah.
I mean, like we've really been lucky, like this first 3 months, 4 months of the year, even. But maybe they have blown their load too early, and that's the reason why there's no E3. Nothing left to announce or showcase.
Yeah, I think this is again COVID thing. People couldn't really pump out games either. So there's just no games to announce. Games that were in the works aren't finished, so they're delayed. I just think it's just another knock-on effect.
Yep.
For now.
It'll be interesting to see how they progress for next year, realistically. Like if COVID's going to die off as much as it is at the moment, if we're able to come back, I guess, where we were in a sense, or better off, because it definitely feels really jumbled this year. It's more like, oh, COVID's dying, quick, let's do this, and this that we missed out on doing. So it'll be interesting to see if they go, all right, maybe we shouldn't have done it that quick. It is actually easing. Let's do it better next year,
I mean, like, this is only because I am a huge Destiny fan, so I know a bit more about it anyway. Bungie have started making like an active campaign to hire people specifically to work from home. Like they've got like several states in America that they're booking so that it's 100% work from home, which is the main thing that killed gaming. Killed the progress of gaming. For 2 years, everyone got sent home and nobody was in the same office and stuff like that, and them adjusting. But it seems that Bungie, at least, some of the bigger companies are really starting to figure it out, saying that it is actually possible to do long distance and travel, transfer back and forth.
Yeah.
I mean, like I had to work from home for a while, but I can't imagine what it'd be like transferring terabytes worth of data, like developing games and stuff like that.
Well, the thing is, they're not. It's all local. We do it at work as well. Like we work with massive models and 3D models and stuff of shopping centers and all sorts of things. It's all done locally. All they would be doing is logging onto a local machine and working.
Yep.
So the data doesn't go anywhere. You don't need to.
Be interesting if it opens up more opportunities for people a lot further.
I think that's the positive about it is you might have drained your city's talent.
We see, yeah. And now you see opportunities all the time that you can't reach because it's too far away. You don't want to up and move your whole life, all the rest of it. If an opportunity like this now comes available because we have the resources, or more so the knowledge that we can do the resource this way, then it's probably better in one sense for a lot of people down the track.
Yep. No, that's fair. I guess I can kind of touch on this. I mean, like this is even confirmed, but it's kind of like a rumor that's been floating around. Like the Breath of the Wild 2 has been delayed to next year, and a lot of people are saying they don't think it's going to be able to run on the Switch, for what they're advertising and stuff like that. So they're even talking about, the original Breath of the Wild that was announced for the Wii U, and after like 5 years of development or something like that, because it's been 5 years since Breath of the Wild 1. They said, oh well, there's a new console coming out, and it's going to be a launch title on there, and they released a half baked version on the Wii U, and they're mentioning, they say maybe next year we could be getting the Switch.
Wouldn't surprise me. It's a bit overdue for a new Switch.
I mean, realistically, the hardware was a bit outdated when it first launched.
I don't think they probably expected it to be as popular as it was. To be fair,
because the Switch is one of their best-selling consoles, including like the handheld, which I think is beating some of the DSs now, and those Nintendo DSs sold like hotcakes.
Yeah, you'd think they'd be prepared a little bit more for how that was going to go, considering, even PlayStation Portable was really good in the sense, everything portable, travel-wise, and everything like that, everyone's been jumping on and grabbing heaps.
The only reason they don't work, the only reason they didn't work for those PlayStations, they just marketed it incorrectly.
Yeah,
it was some really good handheld.
Everyone jumped on it if you knew what it was and everything like that. And the same thing with the DSs, they were huge. Why weren't they more prepared for it? You would expect it to be, especially with the way that the world is going, more digitally, more travel friendly, I guess, in a sense, to be able to go places. You would have thought they would be a little bit more on top of it, I guess, would be the way to put it.
Because I mean, I guess they can literally piggyback off the launch of the Steam Deck. They say, well, they got another like a Steam Deck now is capable of this, and if people are accepting of the size of it, because I haven't even seen the size difference. Is it comparable to the Switch, or is it bigger, or is it smaller?
I think they're about the same size, aren't they? I think they're just a bit bulky. I think it's just a bit bulkier. I don't know. I don't even know if they're out here yet.
Yep.
I don't think they are yet.
No, they're not. You got to get them shipped in.
Yeah.
Because I mean, how long's the current generation of Xbox and PlayStation's been out? 2000.
Meant to be 8 years. Oh, how long's it been out?
Yeah. So it's about 3 years now. Sorry.
We're in the 3rd year. Yeah.
Is it? Yeah. Okay. Because I mean, how long until we get the Pro versions? Because I know, like in the last generation, you got the PlayStation.
Soon, apparently. I was reading that PlayStation were looking at doing
a PS5 Pro or something.
PS5 Pro, yeah. Was some rumors about a PS5 Pro.
Do you think that's what some of these games are holding off on? They maybe just can't run on the current consoles.
Maybe with the Switch's case, but I mean, hence if Witcher can run on it, then maybe Nintendo just don't want to cut back on the game enough to make it run on it. I'm sure they could get it to run if they wanted to. Like I said, if Witcher and all those other big games run okay, then they just may not want to cut back on it.
Because seriously, I honestly can't see it like a single game that's coming out in the next 6 months that was could beat anything that came out in the start of the year. I mean, obviously Elden Ring's probably the game to beat at the moment. Either that or Lego.
Tiny Tina's Wonderland. Yeah.
Tiny Tina's is like killing it at the moment.
Um,
Um,
oh, yeah. Have you got any games that you're looking forward to? Nothing you haven't seen? Tickled
everything
your
I was looking
fancy?
forward to has been pushed back.
We were
Yeah,
talking about this at the barbecue the other night, actually, about what's
yeah.
coming out between now and Christmas. And
Mhm.
I even thought there was a Call of Duty on the list, but I don't think there is.
Call of Duty is
Yeah,
just always
I didn't see
slated for
it.
November, but whether that
Yeah.
happens or not is a different story.
No one waits for Call of Duty. It just
No, I
comes out
know, but I
every
was just
month.
surprised. I thought, oh, I think there's a COD. I don't know what else is
Still
coming
play
out.
Call of Duty.
But when I looked at it, there's like no mention of COD this year.
I moved on
Mm.
to Tarkov. Sorry.
Oh, nice. Yeah, we're playing Tarkov over this, right? Yeah.
The only thing that's
Maybe.
realistically got my attention for the rest of the year is additions to games that are already out. There's Outriders, came out last year, which was pretty damn good for a while, and then it died off. There's an expansion coming out for that. Hopefully, it comes this year and is good. Like Halo's got season 2 and 3 coming out, which hopefully will have co-op and Forge. Um, I mean, like every other game is realistically a live service now. Like Rainbow Six has new content every 3 months. Fortnite still has new content. No build modes and stuff. So
Yeah.
um, that's the only thing that's keeping everyone going. The fact that these
Yeah.
games just keep getting updated.
And the only games that I was kind of, when I was looking through the list, was the Evil Dead game, Sniper
Yep.
Elite 5,
The Quarry.
The Quarry.
The
Yes,
Quarry,
good point.
yeah.
Quarry was probably
Yep.
one of the bigger ones.
Yep.
Other than those few, they're really. Oh, Gotham Knights. Gotham Knights was
Yeah, Gotham Knights.
one I was looking forward to. But other than that, really, nothing's really standing out to me for the rest of the year. So, which is
Gotham
fine. It
Knights.
means I can catch up with everything that did come out because I haven't.
Mm. I mean, like based on like Brashy did the review on like the Lego Star Wars games.
Mm.
I actually liked it. I went and bought it myself.
Yeah, I've
I've
been
never played
playing
a
it a
Lego
lot.
game.
I've been playing it
It's really good.
heaps of Lego.
Is
But that's just a re-release, like anyway, isn't it? It's just a remaster. So
I don't know. I didn't play them.
yeah,
Oh yeah, come on, don't lie, mate.
I didn't play them.
I remember you at the barbecue talking about the Lego games, and
Mm.
you do love them.
I
So
love a Lego game. I want to pick up
yeah.
the Jurassic World one.
I used to love that Lego Star Wars back in the day. That was a really good game. I think that
Yeah, I didn't
kind
play
of
any of the
sealed
Lego
the deal
Star
for
Wars.
Lego. The Lego Star Wars, I think, got me into the Lego games for a little while there because I even tried the Lego. I think it was Harry Potter, maybe. And
Yeah,
that
I
was
didn't.
really fun at the time. I don't know. It seems childish, but when you're playing it, you actually get really into it.
yeah.
It's not childish.
It's got good mechanics in it. Like it's old school mechanics. Pretty much every old RPG or adventure game were built off those mechanics. So like to build stuff and stuff. It's pretty cool.
That and running
Um,
around and trying to collect everything is like
yeah.
the big thing. Was that I'm just trying to remember. There was 3 games that I was kind of like looking out for. 2 of them are RTS, and well, I'll talk about them first. There was Starship Troopers,
Oh yeah,
Really?
the
Yeah.
Terran Command, which is releasing on PC in June, and then there's the June game, which is a RTS as well. So like going back to last time I played a June RTS game was like,
I was about to say
what?
that's the 80s version, isn't it?
Yeah, that's
Or-
the 80s. Yeah, that was like 20, 30 years ago for me.
I had that
So
on
that
PC.
yeah, it's that game would be good. Oh, and there's uh oh god, Warhammer Dark Tide as well. That's coming out on PC.
Hmm
That one looks good. And then there's the Saints Row as well.
Saints Row, yes.
Saints Row. That
Is it
was the
actually
one we were
coming this
talking
year
about.
though? Because
Yeah, it's meant to
I
be
haven't seen anything
August. I'm
since the
pretty
review
sure.
announcement. That's what I'm so skeptical of games. These days, like you can tell me it's coming out, and it could be like 3 days beforehand. I'm kind of like, is it actually going to hit though?
It's August at the moment. Yeah.
August. And the big one there were 2 big ones. One was Starfield, released
Yep.
by Bethesda later on in the year, which is I'm looking forward for that.
I'm
Look,
pretty
good
keen to
sci-fi.
I've only ever seen a CGI trailer for it though.
Yeah,
So.
yeah, that's why I'm kind of like a bit, hold off, see what happens. But and the other one was Stalker 2, but that's put on hold.
Yep. That's next year as
due
well.
to the recent conflict.
I think you got pushed back before that, and now it's in even a worse position because of it.
Yeah. Their official statement when the conflict happened was the game's going to be put on hold, and they wanted to make sure that all staff members were in a safe place
Yep.
until production can proceed back to normal. So that's not
I've been
gonna.
really looking forward to that. Like, I love the first one. Like, I played the first one for like a year and a half, but we just my cousin and I loaded up with mods, so that it basically became a game that wasn't even the original
Oh
source of
yeah,
it.
I've played those mods. It's good mods.
But there's so many, like, there were so many life improvement mods you can add to those games, like add to that game itself, which looked like that they were incorporating into Stalker 2. So that's what I was pretty excited for.
Yeah.
That
I
sucks that that's
was.
gone as well.
Yeah, it's. Well, hopefully we'll see it sometime soon. Won't hold my breath, but it was one of the big games I was looking for this year. But we'll
Because I
see
mean,
what happens.
I don't think there's a single exclusive left that coming out this year. There's Halo's got like Halo was the last exclusive for Xbox, wasn't it? Like, and then there's been nothing since. There's no Forza. I know there's supposed to be a Fable coming out. There's Perfect Dark, which is on hold as well because apparently that's in hell. Like all the developers keep leaving on that. PlayStation, they've released for like Forbidden West, like the Horizon game. The next one was supposed to be God of War. Then that's not coming out.
Yeah.
Nintendo, like I guess Nintendo's like you probably got some Mario game up their sleeve. They always do.
Yeah. They'll. Who knows? They might bring it out at the Game Awards. But
Kirby was really good though. I like that.
Yeah, that looked good. Yeah.
So
But, Atomic Heart as well. That was another game.
Yeah, that one
out for,
disappeared. I
but
forgot about that one.
Yeah, there was a few games. The issue was a lot of games that were released last year, and they were either going to put them in alpha release and kind of just go, all right, we're just going to chuck it up on Steam. You can go check it out. It will come out when it comes out, and even then, it's going to be an alpha or a beta or whatever. And that's one of the things that kind of ticks me off with the industry at the moment is a lot of games that look fantastic, and then they just kind of release it, but it's only like half a game or a quarter of a game, and they'll say the rest will come later.
Yep.
So it's kind of made that part of the industry kind of dismal. Going, yeah, this looks great, but that's why I am looking forward to Starfield because that looks like it's going to be.
I really hope I hear more about Starfield because I'm just a big supporter of Bethesda, even though they've had some faults lately. But trying to claw their way back from Fallout 76. Personally, I didn't mind that game, but obviously it offended people greatly. So
I think with most games at the start, it was just a lot of issues, and then I think later on they do have a plan for releasing a lot more content for it to keep it going. But it's a matter of whether the player wants to come back to it. Whether their mouth is already spoiled from having a first chunk of it in the first place. And
I think that's a testament to Tiny Tina's Wonderlands and Elden Ring as well. Like those games that both hit the ground running and haven't stopped because both of them seemingly are complete games, which just seems to be a phenomenon lately.
Well, not just that. There was it was brought up in a conversation I had with someone where two common factors in those two games were one, that was technically single player games, you can play it single player. They were complete games, and another fact, they didn't have microtransactions where developers didn't focus on let's try and sell people something over the fact of trying to make a good game.
Yep.
And it was those factors that just kind of made it a lot more appealing to people rather than just go, oh, I can get a different colored skirt for paying $2, and that was, let's focus on that rather than just a good game.
Yep.
So there's those two factors that those two games had. So and then it was and gameplay. Yeah.
Like you said though, in general, it's gonna be a nice break to be able to get through the back catalog of games that we've got because I've got a lot sitting on my plate at the moment.
Yeah.
Anyone want to add on to that topic before we move on, or? No. Also talking about all exciting games and stuff like that. Like Subby and I went and saw Ambulance like for the Australian premiere.
It's a good
It
movie.
was fun. Like it was a really fun movie. Like there's a couple of things in there that you kind of looking at because like it's just typical Michael Bay, but at the same time, it's probably one of Michael Bay's most ambitious films with a lot less going on. I mean, like obviously he did Transformers and stuff like that, but man, like the set pieces, the production value, like the sound design, like the explosions, the everything that in this film was wild, and it's like it made me think about it. Like when I was writing the review for it, do we need more of these? Like again, Hollywood, because that seemed to be the in thing for like the longest time. I'd say between 2000 and 2008, it was just blockbuster after blockbuster type thing, and then movies started slowly moving into being more serious, political, and like methodical, and like telling messages and stuff like that. And then Ambulance just comes back and just blows the doors off again.
Yeah, Ambulance. It reminded me of those just nonsense movies like what's that? The Gerard, that guy's name, Gerard Butler. What's that guy's name? Guy that,
Yeah,
The
There's-
Irish guy,
yeah, the Irish guy. The guy that did the Pegasus and the
300.
300 movies. He's
Yeah,
he's
Gerard
what he's
Butler, yeah.
White House Down type stupid movies.
yeah,
Oh yeah, the White
They
House
might be
movies.
stupid, but they're fun to watch.
They were really good to watch. I quite enjoyed those films.
It's those sorts of movies that I'm, like you said, we need more just fun movies,
Yeah, stupid,
Just
dumb, fun movies.
stupid dumb action movies.
Because I mean, it wasn't all like bad, but I mean, like that was just. I mean, like I don't think that there was a single line delivered by like the main three. Well, I guess they all divided, but pretty much everyone's yelling, everyone's at each other's throats, everyone's at like high intensity and stuff like that, and it was fun. And then there's like this pretty like daring scene in the middle of it where like they got this video like call and they've got everyone like so many things happening at once. It was really cool, and I was talking to Slendy about this just before the podcast started. It reminds me of like Hot Fuzz, which
That's
is
a
like
really
one
good
of my
film.
favorite movies of all time.
Like movies are meant
That's
to
a
just
great
be
film.
entertaining.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I just think they took a bit of a turn somewhere along the line, and they got too serious or based off of actual events.
yep.
Just good dumb fun. And Ambulance really brought it back.
Because in the movie Ambulance, they were making fun of other Michael Bay films. Like they were literally, talking about the cops and saying like, what are we part of Bad Boys here? And then they were quoting The Rock and stuff like that. Like with Sean Connery. So like that's why I was like, it reminds
Making
me
me
of
want to watch
Hot-
it more now. I've
yeah,
been waiting to see it.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
such a good movie. I want to watch it again too. I can't wait to
Like,
watch
yeah.
it again.
I
I've
can
watched so much behind the scenes on YouTube, and so much. I've started following the kid they hired to do all the drone shots. I started following him on all his
I watched a thing about him recently, and they were all talking about how the drones are going to be the next best thing for movies now,
Yeah.
Well, they did a
especially
damn
with
good job
how
with the
well they
cops.
did. Yeah,
You should watch some
especially
of the
with how
stuff
well
he's
they
got on
did,
his TikTok and whatever. It's insane, dude.
Harry, I was watching a bit where they got real close to the building and he just screams up it, and then all of a sudden just does a 180.
Yeah,
Basically,
yeah.
and
There's a
just
lot of it in
screams
the
straight
movie
back down.
where it the drone goes literally up the side of a building and just flicks around and comes back down and into the building where the bank robbers are going in and out of it. It's insane. It
I
is
watched a little
crazy.
bit on that. That was really interesting to see. That's what made me even want to watch it even more than prior.
He went hard with the drone shots, and you can tell that's just so
I mean,
impressive.
It amazes me itself on like the picture quality that they're getting from that
Yeah,
camera.
whatever
as well.
camera they strapped to that thing is insane.
Yeah, especially moving at those speeds that it was doing and everything like that. Like that's impressive. But
And he was like the kid, like the thing I watched was like, I haven't do I get to practice? He goes, no, I'm going to jump this car once. You got to get up. You got to do a shot. You've got to get up underneath it. Like it's crazy.
Awesome.
It's good.
He did amazing. Did an amazing shot for that too. Because like I obviously haven't seen the movie, but that's that whole little doco thing that I watched.
Oh, you watched it as well? Yeah.
Yeah, we must have been watching the same one. But yeah, when I seen that, I was like, man, this is some incredible stuff. And I think it's going to help production a lot more and save costs through films. Realistically, if they're going to start going, because you think about how many high shots that people get in general, whatever they're using, whatever equipment, I bet you it costs 10 times more than just a drone.
But what they're using is like chase vehicles. So they got they've got a car that's custom built to chase with camera rigs and cranes on it.
Yeah.
Don't need it anymore.
Pretty well.
I don't know what they do for aerial stuff. I'm guessing
I
they.
mean, like I know there's a lot of after effects in the movie of like putting a bit of lens flare and
Oh, yeah.
all that type
Yeah.
of thing.
Yeah,
But
that's Michael
like
Bay.
a bulk of that movie realistically would have had to been done practical, which we don't get a lot of these days anymore.
That's what he said. He did say one thing I watched. He did say he did a lot of that stuff practical. Everything that's in that movie is legit, practically done.
That's what I always loved about the James Bond movies. Like they traditionally try to do as much as they could, without adding any extra effects and stuff like that. Until they had that atrocious scene where the Pierce Brosnan was surfing in front of like a blue screen. I don't know if anyone can remember that.
Yeah, I've watched Corridor Digital's
Yeah.
bad CGI videos.
Yeah, but yeah, I mean, you kind of feel like everyone was getting sick of it because of the Fast and Furious movies. The Fast and Furious movies, when they moved from the street racing to like the we're defending the world situation.
Strap a rocket to a car and just
At first, it was kind of like,
jump a
okay, yeah, I
bridge.
can get behind this, and then like, okay, well, hang on, slow down. They're like, well, what are you doing now? And then I feel like they're going to go into space the next one.
Yeah,
I think that really got everyone to kind of back away from the silly action movie, but.
Yeah, but
seeing
you gotta
ambulances.
realize it wasn't practical effects. It was the power. It was the magic of family that got him through all that.
God.
Yep.
I was reading just yesterday about Fast and Furious, actually, that the director or somebody was saying maybe they should be going. Maybe it's time to go back to the roots of the
But
series.
it seemed like the way that they finished the last one is kind of bringing it more towards the street scene again. Like the
kind of.
family barbecue at the back.
Yeah.
For those who haven't watched it because you didn't want to watch that anymore, Han's back. You've got old mate from Tokyo Drift there now. Like it seems like all of the movies have now combined who's left, and now it's back to just purely the streets, family, having a fun time. And
Well, that's what they were
like
talking
done now.
about. Yeah, what I was reading.
Yeah.
I guess that's what they had the branch off movie, like the sideshow movie with Hodge and
Hobson Shaw.
Oh,
Hobson
yeah,
Shaw.
Hobson Shaw,
Hobson Shaw. So maybe they can just keep doing that, or they want to do like the over the top stuff. I actually watched
Well, that's
that.
what I mean. Like that one was really good for action, I guess, in a sense, because
Yep.
as much as it was, I guess, attached to Fast and Furious, it wasn't 100% in that same category, in my opinion.
Yes.
I think that worked out better as an action itself, and that would have been all right if that's how Fast and Furious were going to cut off and then continue if they had a different side of things. Hobbs and Shaw, I reckon, would be great if they continued that.
Who
And
did
kept that motion going that way, but when it comes
they can
to
go
Fast
on the
and Furious, it needs
space
to go
and
back.
leave the others
Yeah.
stay on the street.
Yeah. And leave the racers, who they should be just pure racers, on the street, having fun with their cars, building it, looking for the next, $100 that they can take off somebody.
Yep.
Didn't they announce free somebody for the next movie? What's the chick that
Brie
does Larson?
Brie
Yeah.
Larson. Hasn't they haven't said what role or capacity she's in it.
Yeah.
She's part of the role, so like so.
We'll
Is
see what
John Cena
happens.
still part of that series, or
Who
because
cares?
he was introduced as Dom's brother, wasn't he?
I
I
feel like
think he is.
he may be. I mean, you can't just bring him in like that as a long lost brother. Now, good mate, so to speak, at the end, and then not bring him back. He's got to come back for something, whether it's going to be a long time, like a permanent position, or if it's just going to be, all right, now I'm going to go off and do my action badass stuff that I was doing without you. Who knows? It'll all depend on what direction they want to take it. Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, if he continues the whole, like, the Hobbs and Shaw sideline thing, I can see that being the case, but I don't know whether he's going to play a really good role in the street scene, I guess, in that sense. Because he had that one spot where he came and drifted the, I believe it was the new Supra, to help Dom out in a really shit situation. And that was pretty much the only real, I guess, good driving you would see from him. So maybe they can incorporate him now being part of the family and doing it and getting away from all that now that they're, I guess, family again in a sense, or he's going to go off and just be here for a few scenes and then that be the end of him.
Yeah, I think it's funny. I guess we've seen this trend multiple times over in Hollywood. In the '80s, it was all Sylvester Stallone, with the Rocky films and stuff like that, and then Conan and um, Armageddon, Arnold Schwarzenegger basically just he just jumped from movie to movie. He didn't necessarily have a long-standing franchise. Like he pops up in Predator and then moves on to the next one type thing. But
there's Terminator. That's his long-standing franchise, if
Yeah.
anything.
Yeah, but they were still about like 8 years apart or so, weren't they? Like Terminator 1 and 2? Or...
Yeah. It was only until now in the last 10 years that's when
They've
they
really gone ham on it.
Yeah, really gone back. It's like, let's have you back for about 3 or 4 more times.
Yeah. So that's then usually he just pops, like in a movie and then goes to the next one. Doesn't really care about continuity or whatever it is. But
Yeah.
we really went away from it a while from Hollywood, and then Michael Bay came back with Transformers, and then we had the Expendables experiment for a while. Like had 2 or 3 movies of them where everyone's like
Interesting ones.
Well, we won't. Sadly, we won't get any more Die Hard movies because Bruce Willis has retired.
So sad.
Yeah.
Is it aphasia that he has, or
something to do with memory? I don't know.
Yeah.
Apparently, he has to use a earpiece for his lines to be read to him as he acts.
Wow. I mean, hell, he's had a good run. I mean, like he's not.
Oh yeah.
He's not old, like for the sake of acting career, because I mean, you got people like Ian McKellen and stuff like that still going.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, like it is really sad to see like where he is. I mean,
It's a sad day
there
for
was another one in
Christmas.
production, wasn't there?
What?
What, another Die Hard?
Yeah.
I thought there was, but
Yeah, same.
I don't know. I thought there was. Yeah, I don't know.
If there is, it's a high chance that they can finish it if they've started it with him. I mean, look at the same thing going back to Fast and Furious, for instance. They were able to do CGI on his brother and everything like that. So
Like I said, it's not
don't
like
think that they couldn't finish it in one sense.
Yeah, it's
It's
not
just
like he
would
can
be-
act. He can't act. He just has
Yeah,
his
it would have
lines
to
read
be
to him.
the
That's
end
all.
of it if that is the case. Like
Yeah.
if there is one more, this will be the
I
final
hope there's
and then
another one.
to say see you later kind of thing.
Well,
I
they
think
could just
would
like
be
put
how
an
they finish it.
earpiece in his.
Well, that's what they're doing now. That's what these
Yeah.
last bunch of movies are all being read to him in an earpiece.
Right.
You know,
Which
there's-
has got to be like, I mean, like it's hard for him, but that'd be like a hard for the entire production. You know what I mean? You get a bank on him to being able to work through that. Like that's a lot of pressure to put on him as well as everyone else. So probably making the right decision to be able to step away and see if time away will get him in a position where he can come back.
Yeah.
It'd be great to see him come back, 5 years time, and then hit up another movie now that he's feeling a lot better or something's started to progress in his favor. It'd be great to see him make a comeback in at least just one movie, just to say, I'm doing well in a sense.
Yep. Because I mean, Sylvester Stallone, I know he had like all these neck issues and all these other issues and stuff like that. Like like he was basically said, "I'm done with it all," and then 3 years later, he's like, "Okay, well, I'm doing another Rocky and another Rambo movie."
There's Expendables as well. They were planning on making another one to that.
I think they wanted to, but like nobody wanted to come back. That nobody wanted to do like the full.
It shot itself in the foot. It's one of those movies you expect all those people to be in it, or it comes out with like 3 of them and it's just rubbish. Like you got to have them all in it now.
Yeah,
or more. Like start bringing in more 80 stars.
I mean, I don't know. Like, I don't know where we go from here. Like, I personally really enjoyed it, and like, I would love to see a couple more of those films. I think the thing about that is the fact that a lot of people are coming back to cinemas now. Those movies hit harder. Like, I was so happy that I would strongly recommend if anyone actually sees Ambulance, if you can.
You got to see it in the movie. It's so good.
Overseeing it
on Thursday. Don't worry.
No.
Is it out yet? It's out now, isn't it?
Yes, out
there.
Yeah.
Because I was going to go watch it last Thursday, but I wasn't able to. There's something came up at work, so this Thursday I'm going to go watch it.
It's been out for Australia before it came out in America. Oh no, America's had it before us. It was Fantastic Beasts that was the other way around. We had it before America. So Fantastic Beasts has only just started coming out type thing. But Ambulance was out in February, so we got it much later.
I still haven't seen. I haven't been able to find the original Fletcher.
It's
anywhere.
a 2005 ambulance. Like
Yeah,
it's
I've not been
it's
able to
a
find it
Danish film.
anywhere at all in any form.
No, I've seen YouTube clips of it and stuff like that, and like I've seen interviews.
It's
with
apparently
actors.
really short too. It's only like an hour long or something.
Yeah, like it's barely an hour.
Yeah.
It looks like a fun movie. And I read the synopsis of it and went through and did as much research as I could on it. I still really want to watch it. Like
Yeah, I want
anyone
to
that
watch it
doesn't
too.
know, it's based on a Danish film of the same
Similar,
concept.
same name. Yeah.
Like two brothers, they do that, but obviously the American ones are greatly expanded, which is
I
good.
think I prefer these just one-off action flicks instead of like a million Transformer movies or.
Yep. So like that's what I was alluding to with Arnold Schwarzenegger, the fact that he used to just drop a movie and then just be done with it. Move on. Like, any remember True Lies?
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah,
hey, that was
fantastic.
such a good movie.
Yeah, like need more movies like that. Just drop them.
One of my favorites of his is
classic.
Last Action Hero.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Such a good flick.
that's the Christmas one, isn't it?
That's the one where
No,
it's
no.
the one where he's a movie star and he pops out of the cinema screen. The kids that the movie's watching Last Action Hero, and he
Oh,
it's
yeah,
it's
yes,
the one
I
where
know
he's
that one.
he's an action movie star.
Yep. What's the one I'm thinking of then? Like, there's the one where like he's a dad trying to get like a superhero toy for his kid on Christmas or something like that.
Oh God.
It's like
I know
it's
the
like more of
toy.
a comedy film, but
Yeah. That was a Christmas film.
What's
Yeah,
it called?
Oh, I'm trying to remember now. Turbo. No, the toy was called Turbo Man.
mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Yes,
but I can't
yep,
remember
yep.
the name.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that was a good fun movie. Like he turns up into like the Santa ring where there's all the guys like all the people dressed up as Santa. They go to the stores and stuff like that, and they get in like in a fight with all of them.
Yeah. He's
Yeah, that
trying
was
to
good
get
fun.
him. Yeah, that was a good movie as well. Yeah, that was one of those one-off movies that he did. Just it was good.
Yep.
Still trying to remember the name of it.
Yeah, I want to know what it's called.
What were you saying, Subby, about like the ambulance movie being rated one of Michael Bay's best movies?
I was reading somewhere on an article that popped up on, I think it was either Facebook somewhere or something. Someone posted an article about it was rated one of Michael Bay's best movies. Like the ratings, like the Rotten Tomato rating.
Yep.
Like, Jingle All the
I mean,
Way, is that the movie you're talking about?
Yeah, that's
Jingle
it. Jingle All the Way. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know where I saw it. It just came up on my feed, but it was one of his highest rated movies now, or already, or
Realistically, he's
something.
been so wrapped up in Transformers movies that everyone's just kind of forgot that he did other stuff. Like,
The Rock and
The Rock was like is still one of my favorite movies. Like, I really love that one.
Well, yeah, he produced crap loads of movies and directed as well. And there's like The Island as well. What is it? Pearl Harbor. I've got his thing up. And he's doing a new movie. It was just announced. It's called Robocalypse, and it's a sci-fi story set in the aftermath of a robot uprising. So
I could get behind that.
yeah, as long as it's not Transformer-ish. You know, we've had enough of that. Like,
who did the Pacific movies, like Pacific Rim?
Oh, they were pretty good films, I thought.
Oh God, I'm trying to remember now.
Because that seems like a Michael Bay film, but like, like someone else.
He
did
might
that.
have produced it.
It's funny because like you look at reviews for Ambulance, because it went straight to cinemas. It hasn't been given like box office. They look at the box office numbers as, and that's they're bad. But then when you look at the like Rotten Tomato scores, people that have watched it, like I said, they're one of his highest rated movies.
Yep.
Which is interesting to me. So like,
I get for my review, I give it a 7. But I had to preface the movie. I was like, like it's one of those things where like giving it a 7 doesn't necessarily mean it's a bad film. Like it was insanely fun, and they knew exactly what it was, and they made he did it because that's what he wanted to do, and I thought it's like it was a love letter to those type of movies, and I really really loved it. But
what I'm getting at is like when they look at a movie flopping, they look at the box office numbers, but no one's going to cinemas, so they're flopping. These movies are being titled as flops, but I don't, they're not.
Yep.
It's just hard. No one's gone to the cinemas.
Yeah.
the same with Fantastic Beasts. They're saying it's a flop, but you look at the people that have actually watched it.
Mm-hmm.
Scores are different compared to the box office numbers.
Yep. There's a bit of divide in that movie.
It's just hard.
That movie, so.
We're in this place where they want to put everything back at cinemas first, but no one wants to go to cinemas.
Yep. I think they were talking about that type of stuff. Talking briefly about streaming services and stuff like that as well. A lot of big name companies and stuff like that don't want movies to go straight to streaming and stuff like that because they feel like it affects it.
The only thing that affects it is people can rip it. You only got to hire it. You only got to, even though you you rent it or hire it to watch, like the cinemas. Yep. You can't rip the cinema as easy as you can rip it from a streaming service.
Pirating is a lot more easier with streaming services, as in going to a cinema.
I think they're still complaining about it after the fact of when it's finished in the movie and then it goes to streaming service afterwards compared to people just buying the DVDs and stuff like that. But
I stopped. I used to be one that would buy Blu-rays and hate the 4K version every time. I just haven't anymore.
Because I know that they I've talked about it before on these podcasts. The cinema release is for the production company. They're the ones that get all the money back for it, and then the DVD home release is usually where the director and some of the other crew get the big bankroll. That's why you see a ton of director's cuts come out, because then they put out the copy that the parent company wanted, and then when it comes to the cinemas, they get and then it comes to their personal release, they give a director's cut because that's the one that they wanted. That's their vision for it, type thing, and then they get more money for it. So maybe they're the ones that are getting more upset about it. So. But yeah, I don't know, I have no idea how streaming revenue works, but you can't get the same review numbers for it than what you can in the cinemas, because if someone goes to the cinema, they're specifically paying X dollars for this movie, one particular, whereas streaming service, it just says, oh, you got 10 million people on it, and you can get some data out of it, but they don't like it because it's not the way that it's been ranked beforehand. So I think that those blockbuster movies is what sells Netflix or any streaming service, having something on there that you can chuck on in the background. Because I could have that movie if I'm at home writing myself or doing something else. You can have that in the background, and you can come in and go on that movie, and you're always coming into it's like some form of visual candy. So.
Well, that's why streaming services, when they release something, it's always convenient when it's like, oh, they released something and it's just when about, your next payment is due for Netflix, so you got to pay for the next month just to watch that one movie.
Yep.
And I think that's how they've just been doing it lately, especially with series that are coming out like, let's say, Halo. They're not like Netflix, how they just dump it in one go. They're just doing it week by week by week by week.
Yep.
And for them it seems more profitable because people their free sign in is only for 7 days. So you only get to watch one episode if you sign in at the first week, and to watch the next episode you have to sign into your monthly.
That's what's keeping my Disney Plus going at the moment, Moon Knight.
yeah, exactly. It's with those series, and Disney does it so well, and so does Netflix, because they constantly bring out content that's like, oh, okay, if I want to see the last episode, I've got to sign on for another month.
Yep.
And it's it
The
seems to be working for them. Yeah. And then you just watch that one new episode and you forget about it, but then another series pops up and you're like, oh, okay, I want to watch the new Doctor Strange that's coming out, for example, and then you're like, okay, I've got to sign up again.
Yep.
But it's
You just have me losing money every month on shit that I don't watch.
Yeah,
anymore.
I've cancelled everything.
And then when I cancel it, like a month later, something new comes out, and I'm like, all right, I guess I'll just keep them there.
I've just cancelled
it. So bad. It's so bad. Like I was looking at my bill the other day. I was going, man, I spend way too much on these streaming services. Like I think I have all of them, if not majority. Like I have easily 90% of the streaming services, and I watch maybe 2 to 3 of them majority of the time. And then by the time I decide, all right, I'm going to get rid of this one, I haven't watched it for a while, something new comes out that's actually spiked my interest for a while. So I've got to keep it. So I've just got to the point now where I just leave it.
I've come to the point that I've cancelled it, Something comes out, tough shit. I don't watch it. 'Cause
It's also funny,
just,
like
just wait 6 months and wait till like that
I'd
entire
rather,
series is
yeah,
ended.
I'd rather
Yeah.
just
And then you
wait for it to
binge
come
watch
out
it.
on.
I
Yeah.
can't do that. Hey, like there's some shows like I watch Stan mostly at the moment.
Really?
With Power. So I watch Power, All American, and Bel Air. They're the
Mhm.
three that I had been really hooked on for a while.
Yep.
Bel Air's just finished. I actually quite enjoyed that one, which I wasn't too sure how that was going to go. But Power, so they've come out with like 4 different books. So it's book
Hmm.
1, 2, 3, 4, and then there's seasons inside of that as well. So by the time one finishes, a new one starts up. So that's kept me going on Stan for ages because of that. And it's turned out really well of a series. So it's kept me hooked. And I think Netflix for me is more just like I'm going to sleep, have something in the background as service for me at the moment because there's not a whole lot going on over there.
I think it's funny the phenomenon of humans, because we've had Netflix there with shows that are on there for 3 years and we haven't touched, and then Netflix like, yeah, we're going to cancel it. And we're like, what? And then everyone gets on and starts like streaming that, and then makes these big campaigns to keep it going. Like I think Lucifer. I don't know if anyone's seen that show.
Yeah,
Yeah, I used to watch it.
Yeah.
Like it had 3 seasons, then it got cancelled, and then it got brought onto Netflix for a final season, and then they cancelled it, and everyone like started going crazy again, and season 5's come out, and then nobody watched it, and they think it
Yeah, I still
cancelled it
haven't
again.
seen the new
And
season
then they
for it.
made two-parter, didn't they make that?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
then,
yeah.
but yeah, so nobody's really watching season 5, and they're talking about cancelling it, and so now people are going to start flocking back to it. But like, no, we want it, but even though we haven't touched it in 6 months.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's good.
Oh, it's always funny like seeing that like pop up and down, like when they say, yeah, this is leaving Netflix. I'm like, well, I'll never watch it anyway. And then all of a sudden 2 months later it's like it's been renewed for a new season. Like, how the hell did that
It's even
happen?
more annoying when they get rid of the ones that everyone watching all the time. It's like, why are you bothering to getting rid of that? Like, it just makes no sense. And then you have to go get the next streaming service that it actually pops back up on. And it's like,
Yep.
why?
Well, not
Like,
just
I've got
that.
a mate that watches How I Met Your Mother all the time. He
Mhm.
frothed that thing, watch it
Yeah.
religiously, back to back. Netflix got rid of it, put it on Stan. So he went and bought Stan.
Yeah.
Stan got rid of it, put it back on Netflix. So he went back to Netflix. It's so
It's called
stupid.
Disney Plus now.
Yeah, is it?
Yeah, because the new
Yeah.
How I Met Your Father shows on that. And
I think
Oh,
everything.
that's
I think
right.
Disney
Yeah,
Plus
yeah,
is
yeah.
stealing everything at this point.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's but one of the things that Netflix is also famous for is bringing in a new series, original series.
It's all original. Yeah.
Having one season of that and just going, yep, no, we won't make any more. So when you're doing a binge of a series, like, oh, this looks good, you watch it, finish it up, and you go, when is next season going to be released? It's like cancelled. Like, no.
I like to watch Netflix for the movies they're bringing out because they got a lot of all their Netflix movies. I don't watch a lot
Yeah,
of
the
TV
Netflix
on there
original
anymore. I watch a
ones.
lot. Yeah, I watch a lot of the TV on.
Yeah, they've come out with some really nice Netflix originals.
Yeah,
I
the
thought.
movies are good over there. Got some good movies.
They even did me dirty, Stan, with Yellowstone. I don't know if you guys have ever watched Yellowstone.
Yeah.
Not yet. I've been hearing good things.
And then they came out with like 1883 or 1983 or whatever, the prequel, I guess, in a sense, and they put it on bloody Paramount.
Paramount.
Yeah. So they've got it over there. So I've got to watch Yellowstone in one spot, go all the way over there to watch the prequel.
What's on Paramount though?
And
what else is on
Paramount
there?
Plus.
Halo.
There's not much on it.
I was going
to
to
be
say, I
perfectly
don't think there's
honest.
anything on it.
Like, I
Isn't
bought it,
isn't
I
Halo?
bought it- Yeah,
Halo's
so
on
I
there.
bought
Yeah,
it
Halo's
for,
on it. Yeah.
I bought it purely for the prequel to Yellowstone because I thought that would be really good. Watched a couple of episodes. I really enjoyed it, but I'm kind of wasting my money on the thing. I held out because Halo was coming. Got extremely disappointed in that one. So now I watch Cat Dog from my childhood. That's on there.
Cat Dog. All I'm watching at the moment
it's a classic. So
I'm only
but
watching.
I don't really touch it otherwise, and it's the same thing with Binge. Binge is basically Foxtel.
I got rid of Binge.
Yeah,
I got rid of Binge. I got rid of
use
Stan.
Binge mainly because
Stan
everyone
and
else
Binge
uses
is
my
owned by
Foxtel
Foxtel.
account. Yeah. There's some things you get on Binge you won't get on Stan and vice versa, but on Foxtel it's all there. It's really, really annoying how they've split up so much things, even though they're within the same companies and everything like that. They need to do what like animes done where they merged. Well, I think Funimation bought out Anime Lab or whatever it is, and now they're
Yeah,
merging.
it's all into one with Crunchyroll and all that
Yeah,
kind
they're
of stuff.
merging it all into Crunchyroll. We need something like that. Like, I mean, as much as companies need to make money and whatnot, you think about it with everyone on there. Even if you up the price a little bit, we're like, we're paying stupid amounts for Netflix now. That constantly gets upped for no reason at all. Especially for Australia, I think. Like, our library compared to other countries is ridiculous. It's not that great, and the price that we're paying is the same price as what they're paying. Like, for me, it makes no sense why I'm doing that high of a price for it.
It'll come
You give
crashing down eventually.
justification. Oh.
Like
What was that, sorry?
I'd say like cable, like it'll come crashing down eventually.
Yeah.
Yeah,
What
but
were
the
you
If
reason
they, if they keep upping the prices, I'm leaving it. I don't see the point in it.
I don't really watch it. I can't even think of. I'm sitting here thinking what I even watch on Netflix. I don't think I watch.
I don't watch
Anything on
specific
Netflix.
anymore. Like, I watched at the start. I watched like Riverdale when that first came out. That died off for me. There's a couple shows that I watch every now and again that pop up, but I mean, it's really the Netflix originals that have kept me going with it. Other than that, I don't really watch anything on there.
Yep.
It just sits in the background, if anything.
Documentaries are carrying Netflix at the moment.
Yeah, it's all those weird. What's Tender, what's it called? Tinder Swindler and all those other weird shows they keep bringing out. Like, I don't give a shit about it.
It was that other doco about the girl that was like socialite, but she wasn't, and she was conning everyone for money.
I think I keep it subscribed just in case there's another cool movie they bring out. But now that I think about it, I don't think there has been any for a while, unless I've missed it.
Well, I mean, I I think the killer's gonna like killing blow for Netflix will be if they really widespread that fee on sharing logins.
Yeah, that's the reason why they've upped the price last time.
How are they going to know? How are they going to work that out?
Well, maybe that's the reason why they're just upping it across the board because they know that everyone does it.
Well, that's not me. Like,
people use them on their phones, tablets, TVs.
I want to watch it on HD. Like, I don't want this SD crap at all.
Okay,
if
I have
I'm
the
going to pay
4K
for it, I'm going to pay
subscription.
for the biggest one. Yeah, so I mean, I'm going to pay for the biggest one because it gives me the best quality of options. But now I'm paying a premium for other people using my account that aren't even using my account. I've just got it on my PC here. I've got my laptop upstairs. I've got it on my phone. I've got it on my iPad. Blah 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 for traveling and all the rest of it.
They can tell that it's all in the same house. What they're doing is that when there's 3 people watching Netflix,
you can't tell. If you only watch it on your mobile phone or your tablet.
No, but like if you're sharing your login with someone in another house, the Netflix is like if you're logging in with at two different locations, not different devices, because if all your devices are in the same house, that's one thing.
Yeah, but they're not. Or if I'm watching TV, if I'm watching Netflix on the train.
Yeah.
And even then, like, you're paying
it's a different
for 4
IP.
screens at a time.
Yeah,
like,
you're paying
for
it.
For 4 screens at a time. You shouldn't be up the price because you're sharing that login in a sense. Because, like, for instance, I live, where I live, my sisters used to use my Netflix way back when.
Yep.
And, they live somewhere completely different. And I'm having to pay a premium because I've got 3 extra screens technically that I'm paying for. Just because I wanted the thing. Why am I having to pay an extra $10 pretty well now?
Who these days watches TV in 3 different rooms of one house at once?
Well, it's true.
Well,
yeah. I mean, like my wife and I have 2 different ones at other ends of the house, but then again, we're in the same house, so that's the only thing I could think of is if Netflix were cracking down on people that.
I think they're just using that as an excuse
to up the price.
Because
I mean, when I use it here, I use it on my phone, which is on a train or at work, at lunch.
Yeah,
there's an IP. There's my home IP. There's my mobile IP that's different. That's my work IP that's different. It's still just me using it. But to them, that looks like 3 people, which is not.
Yeah, that's fair.
It's rubbish. Bring out a family plan if it's such a big problem. It's reasonably priced so that every single person.
I mean, at the price now, it should be the family plan. Let's be honest.
That's what Xbox and whatever else does it. Is it Xbox?
Xbox has family.
No, I'm thinking of Nintendo. Nintendo have that family.
Yeah, like
thing.
Nintendo Pass that I've got, it's
Nintendo Family Pass.
$120 for the year, but you can split it across 8 people. You can sign up
Yeah.
to 8 different accounts.
Oh, that's not bad because I'm pretty sure what is it like $90 for the year as an individual or something like that, isn't it?
I think it's like
I don't know.
no, well, like to get that, which includes the like Nintendo 64 and the Sega bundles and all that stuff, like the backwards compatible stuff. It's $120 no matter what.
Yeah, right.
So you can just put the $120 and then you can assign it to 8 different people, so that they all get the benefit for it. So I did that with
Something.
8 people. Like Redgrave's part of that, like group that I've got going. And yeah, it worked out to be what $12-14 for us for an entire year's worth of subscription.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's really good for you guys.
It's
It
just
makes
lazy.
sense.
Instead
Break that down
instead
like
of
that.
working out a proper way to fix it, it's just they're just upping the price.
Yep.
Like Twitch.
I couldn't
Twitch
care
shit.
less realistically if they're upping the price a little bit, but
It's a fair
I think
bit,
my
isn't
biggest
it?
issue. Oh, it is. Yeah, it is. That's what I mean. Like, if it was a little bit, I wouldn't complain anywhere near as much. But I think that my biggest problem is you're upping it across the board, but you're still keeping our library small and terrible.
Mhm.
But you've got, I'm just going off
Also
US's library,
localized as
for
well.
instance. Yeah, localized. I'm going off US's one for this instance, and it's huge. There's so much more options you have. Movies we haven't even seen before or have wanted to watch, and we can't access it where we are for whatever reason that be. But
I
you're still
know,
making me pay the same bloody price that they are.
I know specifically for Australia. I can't say about other countries because I know Canada has something different lineup than US and
Yeah, they do.
UK and
Yeah,
all that
They're all
stuff. So I
different.
know all that stuff. I know specifically for Australia, it's because Foxtel had the monopoly for a while. Like Foxtel was it. So all the companies had to go to them to sign up with them for the right first. And Foxtel, they used to always advertise. They're like, yeah, brand new, straight from America. I'm like, this movie came out 7 months ago or something like that, or TV show and stuff like that. So because they've had those long-standing contracts, I think some of them might as they expire, then you start seeing them pop up on Netflix and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Which is why they've started their own streaming services, which is Stan and Binge. You know what I mean? So they're trying to move
Well,
into that.
I find it funny too because even like with my Foxtel upstairs, it's got the Netflix integrated inside it as well. Like, if they're all together, why aren't we
Oh,
just
really?
making it all? Yeah, yeah, yeah. So if you actually go into like the home screen or whatever it is, it has the actual Netflix section, what's new, what's on Netflix, blah blah blah, and you can access Netflix through Foxtel. If that's the case, why are we still paying for 3 different services that are technically under the same one?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, we
pretty
need
much.
something that's going to bring them all together. Otherwise, it's just they're all going to die, and there's going to be one that's got access to a bunch of stuff. Which, realistically, at this stage, and I'm noticing a lot with a lot of different people, Stan is starting to come up even more because they are getting a lot more variety. And then most people, well, I guess most gamers have Prime because of Twitch and everything like that as well.
Yeah.
So you've got that option on the side as well, which makes things a lot easier.
Prime's the best for
I
value
think
for
the
money,
biggest-
though, isn't it? You get
Yeah,
so
I
much
love
stuff.
Prime.
Not only
But
do
how
you,
much you pay for that, you
not only do you get that little bit a month back in a sub to somebody, which already pays for itself, you get access to their streaming platform.
Well, not
think
just
the big
that.
thing
If
about
you use Amazon Prime, if you
yeah,
order
use
stuff
Amazon.
online,
You've got Amazon Music. Not that I use it,
I
but
don't
I mean,
use that,
if
yeah.
someone uses it, it might be worth it. But it's got a lot of benefits for the small price you actually pay for Prime. I think that's a very underrated service. I think for people that aren't, I guess, in
And
that
Amazon
niche
Video
of
got some good shit.
think of it.
Mm.
Oh yeah, 100%.
oh yeah,
There's a show on there that I've been watching recently
Invincible?
that was really, really, yeah, that was pretty decent. Even The Boys.
Oh, The Boys,
yeah,
yes.
Diabolical.
That was that was yeah, that was
Yeah, yeah.
really good. Like,
New season
they've got
soon.
some really great selection in that for the small price you pay. And I think a lot of streaming services need to start looking like that. Otherwise, they're going to die off too quick if we're just going to keep upping the prices for shit, basically.
I guess the only thing that they can get away with that is because they've got a model behind them, like Amazon. Like you can
Oh, they
sign up for
do.
Amazon Prime so that you can buy all the Amazon stuff, whereas Netflix and all that stuff is purely you could like the only thing they're making money off is just the movies. So it's like you go into EB Games, you pay more for the games because that's all that they're living off.
All they
Whereas
have,
with Big
yeah.
W, they put the games in the back, market the price down, so that the kids go there and then you buy all the stuff on the way to it.
Pretty well.
But at least the bare minimum that keeps me sticking with streaming services and the reason why I pay for YouTube Premium, no ads.
I
just
still got
Yeah.
YouTube Premium for no
I
ads as well.
Yeah.
I don't
though it's
even
like,
know if
oh,
I.
there's so much,
I don't know if
I
I
just
do it
don't
anymore.
want to do an ad.
I mean, like Foxtel, like I used to have Foxtel, you'd pay, you know, a significant amount for it, and still watch ads. You know, like on
Yeah.
on every single channel, no matter what. Like, but at least with the streaming services, even if it equals the same amount when you buy all of them, I'm still not watching ads, and that keeps me keeps me going with it.
Yep.
The only ads you see is for stuff that's on the platform itself. You know what I mean? Like they might show an ad for like a trailer for a TV show on that service.
Yeah,
You know, when you're going through the homepages and stuff like that. So as long as they can keep that, they'll keep me they'll keep me in general.
Yeah, well, that's it. No one wants to see ads anymore, realistically. I'm happy to pay for an ad to get rid of it. Like, it's the same thing when you're watching people stream, you know? You get an ad, and all you can think is, oh, just go away. I want to watch the content. You know what
Well,
I
you
mean?
can
Like,
get rid of ads if
I,
you buy
I'll just,
Turbo.
that's what I mean. Yeah, well, you can do
Yeah.
that, but
Same thing as premium.
it
Well,
just
well, that's
depends on whether you want to support the streamer as well. Like, you never know. Some people you want to
Oh,
actually
yeah.
support that little bit extra.
well with the
Um,
streaming service for Twitch. If you subscribe to them, doesn't that take away ads
Only
sometimes?
to
Or
yeah,
that
yeah, that's
person.
what I mean.
Yeah, but if
Yeah,
you
only
want
for
it,
that person
yeah,
specifically. But if you want it all gone, you go Turbo.
yeah, if you wanted all ads on Twitch gone, you either subscribe to every single person you watch,
Yep.
or just subscribe to Twitch Turbo or whatever.
Mhm.
Yeah, and I look at it like Turbo's good, but if I'm only going to be watching like anywhere between 1 to 5 streamers, I'd rather just sub to them specifically and then just deal with one ad when I find someone new and then see what goes from there. You know,
Yep.
Subby cops all my Prime subs, and unless I'm floating really good, then he gets a tier 3. But until then, it's always Prime subs.
Yep.
Mine's up. Mine's up soon. I might have to give it to someone else.
Yep.
I change mine every month.
Mm. No, it's good. We run through a gauntlet of topics and talked about like games, the death of E3, like the ambulance craze, and like where they can bring back the Michael Bay era, streaming services, the whole shebang. So it's been good to get you guys, like both you guys back on then. But it's been a while since either of you've been on them. Like you haven't been on since last year, Subby, and I don't know if you were on last year at Slendy, were you? Or
I think it was like the second last one before it finished for that
yeah.
season. So I
Mhm.
think that was the last one I appeared on or something like that. It's been a
Yeah.
while. I've been really busy with everything.
Yeah. Well, it's good to have you back, and it's good to hear like the success of the ODL League for yourself.
Yeah, I'm
Um,
keen to get MKAU back on the map for that one too.
and I guess we'll see if we can try and organize the in-house MKAU Rocket League tournament.
Do we stream that one? We put the embarrassment up there that
I
Subby
mean,
gets
like you got the expertise at the moment, had a knife with it, so we'll follow suit with you. It's all right. Well, thank you very much for tuning in for the MKAU show. This has been season 4, episode 3. Have a good day.
Bye.